Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. And we back again for the second part of our program. And remember the number to call is 410-3030. And in studio with us is Master Call. And we on the program, the Galaxy Equalizers. And the topic we choose to discuss this morning is, are you concerned about the challenges facing our men in the society? Are you concerned about the challenges facing our men in Grenada? Obviously, reference will be made to other countries in the Caribbean and perhaps wider. But are you concerned? You have your husbands, you have your spouse, you have boys, you have your neighbors, males around you. Are you satisfied? Are you concerned about the challenges they face? We are well aware that our men are the biggest occupants in the hotel on the hill. They are also the biggest occupants in the mental institute. So much so that the government has felt it necessary to have a whole ministry for the mentally challenged. When you go on the block, our men are the biggest occupant there. And some might well say we are the most active in the rum shop. Are you concerned? Master Carl, you have been around the males all your life. The whole profession was once dominated by males. I think it was in the days of Gary that we had the first women police. And during that period of time, Grenada was well respected for introducing women in the police force because Grenada led in the Caribbean with gender equality concern. We had a woman governor. We had women in the police force. We had a higher percentage of women as parliamentarians.
Yep.
And also we amended the law in Grenada. I can't remember how it was stated, but if you are the man in a country, it was automatic that your wife could get stay. But if you are the woman, then it was not automatic. And in Grenada, they challenged it. Grenada addressed that. And when they asked Gary, who is a Grenadian, he said, once your grandmother is a Grenadian, you is a Grenadian. So over the years, our men have been seriously challenged. Most of the experts and authorities are saying that. And those who have eyes to see could see that. So we're asking, are you concerned about the challenges that face our men? And who better to us than Master Carl? Master Carl, welcome to Galaxy, the Studio Galaxy.
Welcome for having me, Mr. Pierre. And the topic you choose today is a very important topic. Sometimes we sweep under the rug and forget all of us have a part to play in the making of a man. Now, if you go back, and I always like to go back from foundation to have those discussions because it is not only my view, and as you say, the expert. And the expert, the ancient of days, created man. So that man is not an accident. And because he created man, he gave man certain standards he ought to follow. And somewhere along the line, it deviates. And the family structure, Mr. Pierre, is also important in the making of man. When I say the making of man, the character of the male. And even if you go back to the scripture, the apostle charged the mothers, the older women, they say, you have to teach the young women how to train your children. And he also go back and say, train up a child in the way he or she should grow. Now, too often, if you see the foundation of the family, Mr. P, and you could attest to the fact that you was fortunate enough to grow up in the midst of your father. And I am sure that your father would have instilled a lot of life lessons that up to this day you still remember and still hold dear. Now, a lot of men these days, the majority of the male these days, does not have that luxury. So, even society to a certain point give up because Mother's Day, everything good. Father's Day, they just mention it. So they don't, so even society has not really thing. Then persons go say the law is for women and children and not men. So a lot of things we accept as society, Mr. Pierre, leads to what is happening with men now. And men are in crisis, Mr. Pierre, whether we want to admit it or not. Because there are certain things, you see the absence of a father, Mr. Pierre. There are certain things only the father could teach the boys, Mr. Pierre. The mothers may try, but the fathers, and that's something we have to revisit as a country. Because when we were growing up, Mr. Pierre, I ain't attesting to being in town too long, but the village grew up the children. We don't have that now. Me or you cannot correct a youngster right now. The parents coming for us. Or they blasting us on social media. And we forget that the society is as strong as the weakest point. So if the men we believe are in trouble, society in trouble, we must stop it. And sometimes we use the old adage and say the character of a man is how he treats his mother. And too often there are scenarios and situations where how the men treats their mother is appalling and it leaves a lot to be desired. How do we fix those things, Mr. P? What's your idea?
Well, it's a challenge. When you see so many males in our country, they look emasculated, as if they domesticate them for public ridicule. And it must be a embarrassing thing for a woman to watch the sons she produce. And then the sons look so domesticated. And they become a joke. As if they domesticate them for public ridicule. Something have to be done about that. And perhaps even ask, what is the role of the male? You have boys and you have girls in homes. Mm-hmm. There are some jobs that the boys was expected to do.
Yeah.
Over the years, we have advocated that women is equal in defense and production. But be that as it may, in the home, you didn't ask your girl to go and climb breadfruit tree. The boys was expected to climb the breadfruit tree and to climb the mango tree. Now you say women equal in defense and production. Mm-hmm. If you see girls on a breadfruit tree picking breadfruit, the boys might be more preoccupied. The breadfruit might fall on their head because the woman on top of the breadfruit tree, the eyes might be so glued to the beautiful, nice breadfruit that when breadfruit fall, it might bust their head. So we might jump up in society and say men and women are equal. But boys growing up in a family grew up with a sense of responsibility that there are some jobs that they must do. They were taught to do everything because the parents know they could end up living alone or they may have to teach their wife how to do things. But like cleaning the drain with a spade. And they would point out to the woman, don't do that. You want your womb fall out.
Yeah.
Because the womb was a source of sanctity,
Yes,
something to preserve, something that was nurtured for accepting God's gift. And you couldn't see a young girl in the house take a spade, going to clean drain, or climbing coconut tree,
or jog load.
or jogging heavy load.
Yeah.
Yes, she carry load. But they say you want your womb fall. That was one of the justification, the reason advance. And the boys was protective of their sister.
Because and Mr. Peg, where does gender roles factor into all of this? Because, and I don't say it all the time, and I wouldn't get tired of saying it. I grew up with my grandmother, and she said to me, "You have to learn to wash, you have to learn to cook, you have to learn to iron." And I saying, "Well, I want to go and play a crying." She said, "Watch, when you get big, you go thank me." And you know what was she was a woman, you know. And the analogy behind it was, when you get big, woman don't take advantage on you. So where does gender roles factor into all of this?
Well, the women was, I think we get muddled up because some women in some societies was treated very badly by men.
Yeah.
And as people start to look for more gender equality, they get confused because the woman had immense power in the house. They say when mommy mouri, family fini.
What?
When mommy mouri, family fini. When the mother gone, when she mouri, when she dead.
But that is a belief by a lot of people, you know.
Yeah.
It's when mother dead, family done.
Because the woman, the mother, or the woman was the one who held the family together.
Glue.
The glue. They say when a man dead, grass grow in the yard. The man you couldn't see, couldn't match the yard. Now in the veranda, drinking the wine. They say grass grow in the man's yard. Discipline, perhaps the standard, the morality, the principle might have been watered down. But irrespective of what, the mother held the family together. Now we have a society where the young boy seems to be lost. I noticed a boy about 9 o'clock a Saturday morning walking his baby.
Mm-hmm.
And a few women was very happy. They said, "What a nice man, walking his baby 9 o'clock." And I applaud him. But I said, who is digging the yam? Who is holding crayfish? 9 o'clock in the morning, big hardback man walking the baby. Is not to say if it had to be 5 o'clock in the morning, not 9 o'clock Saturday morning. That man should have been in the field doing something. But the way they applaud him for being a good father. We have a number of men now, new moms. They feel proud. They're going to parent teachers meeting every day. And while they're doing that, the economic power is not strong. Maybe they should be grazing cow. Maybe they should be fishing in the river.
Tying out sheep.
Maybe they should be tying out sheep. Maybe they should be doing for a Saturday job. Because the economic power of the home is important. But you have these new men, new moms, domesticated males. They don't look like alpha male no more. They look domesticated. And in the process, they grow children who is as domesticated or even worse than their parents.
Some people say soft.
Well, soft is a nice word. I said domesticated for public ridicule. Males that don't even looking like males anymore.
Even in the outward appearance.
Oh, they have a slipper in the foot. They have a pink or white.
And the hair long.
And the chest become like a disc.
Yeah,
you can't even see muscles in the chest. Because they're cooking and washing instead of climbing trees.
They're walking bend.
And going in the field. They're begging. They prefer to beg. Long ago, a man said there is more dignity in stealing than begging.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there seems to be more dignity in begging than going and look for yam. They used to have a thing called wild yam. Although Dias, the magistrate, you start to jail 1 year in prison. You say anytime they bring you up for yam, it means you break open because you dig the ground to get the yam.
Yeah, and wild yam was the first yam.
And wild yam was the yam in the boundary and etc.
You get a yam
So normally the farmers with a lot of land, the concentration was cocoa, nutmeg, banana, and they wasn't so preoccupied about yam because they plant yam.
But even now, those guys and them now, Mr. Pierre, 90% of them can't dig yam.
No. They could walk, baby. They could cook food. They could go and make errand in the shop. They could fix pampers. But they don't know nothing about fishing and going and hunt and bring an additional source of income in the home. They don't know nothing about in rural Grenada. They don't know nothing about penny piece and poidu and cas.
Yeah.
They do that and bring it home, and this is an additional source of income.
Yep.
They don't know about taking sandbags and polish it to make chain, and they could sell it on the market.
Yeah, make jewelry.
Or take the red beans, collect it. They don't know about that because we have grown a more domesticated type of group of fellas. I say they are emasculated and domesticated for public ridicule.
So you think that is a new culture?
Well, it is a culture that destroys the family. The main purpose is the destruction of the family. So you make these new moms. When you speak to the boys, they tell you they don't want children. They say, oh, strong, handsome man like you don't want to make more.
Don't want to reproduce.
You don't want to reproduce. That is a serious cultural deficiency when a man don't want to reproduce.
That is why, in my view, we are underpopulated.
Well, obviously, our population in the whole Caribbean is on trade. Barbados had about 240,000 people maybe 70, 80 years ago. The Bahamas and Belize had about 80,000. Now the Bahamas and Belize have 400,000. And Barbados don't reach 300,000 yet. Mia Motley in Barbados crying out, but she don't make children but herself. It just hit Mia Motley that the population in Barbados is not sustainable.
Because a big population is something that helps everybody. You know?
Well, it's not sustainable. Japan have a population problem. Japan, I think, had about over 1,700 elderly people dying in their house. They don't have nobody.
Yeah, they don't have nobody to be.
Grenada have the most home for the aged in the Caribbean.
You think so?
Grenada have the most home for the aged. And some social scientists in the area, I say scientists because nowadays all them export does see the bright.
Yeah.
They concern why. Is it because people don't love their people? Or is it for economic reasons? Because that ought not to be, because Grenada have the most land owners. And the fact that you have land is a sense of property, and it means your economic value.
You're viable too.
But it seems that children very quick to abandon parents. Even when they drop the parents in the home, they don't pay you.
Nah.
So some of the homes and things is changing so fast. Because some of the churches, principally the Catholic Church, no longer economically strong. And they are not getting volunteers because the numbers in the church is dwindling. So they don't have money to maintain this home, so they're giving it up. They gave up the Father Mulligan home. And I think another home in Koshu or somewhere. Yes, they give it up too. They no longer could afford to keep it because the numbers are dwindling, and even those Catholics that they cheap, they're not as generous as before. While we have that, all women are not making children. One woman tell me the problem is not them. they say the men don't want children.
But how could that be?
Well, when you speak to a lot of men, they tell
No, they're
you.
saying that as a fact, and a lot of men saying they don't want children, but in my view, they have not come up with a sustainable reason why they don't want any kids.
Well, the afraid responsibility. If you 30 years, you don't make a child yet. When you go start? A man of 40 years, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a dog, you don't have a cat, you don't even plant that tree. When you go start to make children? And some women want to expand the age. They want you to reach 18.
Yeah.
The girl ready like Freddie. She want to pick cotton since she's 15. Instead of dropping the consent age to 15. They want to raise it. The purpose is to mash up the family. And our education system is dominated by women teachers.
Yeah, women.
They only have a child for the record's sake.
Just to say they have a child.
They have a child. And they have one child, they still want to bring up the man. So we have a serious challenge in our society with our males.
Another thing in my view is responsibility, Pierre. When in our era of growing up, you had to take responsibility for either getting the wood or bringing the water or seeing after the animal or going picking the produce and so on. Now the young men and them growing up now with no sense of responsibility. Like I just say in my own way, every child, including men these days, should be brighter. Because the only thing they have to do is to learn. In our days, Mr. Pierre, like since you come out of school, you kinda gauging a piece of feeding somewhere, so you know once they take you, just go and call that and go home. Or you know, before you go to school in the morning, you must bring the water or bring the wood. But now the responsibility on children growing up, and they have everything. So I don't know if it's as a result of that, they don't have no responsibility, so they don't care. Because I just get the impression that they just really don't care.
Well, they don't care. And if you find you males in this society don't care, you're in serious trouble. The mental institute, they have to the government planning to expand the prison.
So there are more males.
And they have to expand the mental institute because the males are going there. You see, there are only two things in the world worth fighting for. Go back to the ancient of days. Women and land.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only two things men fight for. Women and land. And if you have a society where women dominates the education system, and those women tell you they're independent, they don't need nobody, they're independent. If they make a child, it's for the record's sake or by accident. Or the parents perhaps encourage them to keep the child because abortion seems to be they're so liberal about getting rid of God's gift. If the male's telling you they don't want children, you see boys getting married?
Nah.
And most of the boys getting married is because one of them women dragged them in one of them little church and they married them overnight. So when you males in the society no longer believe that a woman needs them, then what is it they're fighting for? The only two things worth fighting for is women and land.
And once you don't have that appetite.
And once you don't have that appetite to fight for this thing, and you don't have religious, the phenomenon of religion don't come in. Religion don't dictate that part. Because we live in a world we're very liberal, the secular world. Your body is yours. A woman says your body is mine. I could put tattoo below my navel. I could do what I wanted. It's mine. Nobody can tell me what to do.
That's the biggest debate going on in America now.
I could dress how I want. I could be like Rihanna. I did on a stage and a fella taking out movie below me.
Because one gentleman tell me you don't have to go in Kentucky anymore to see parts.
No, you
just go somewhere and see everything.
Because the woman wants to convince the man.
They leave nothing.
I don't need you.
They don't leave nothing to the imagination anymore.
And the man back. So the man is not hungry. They might hungry for a piece of sex. And if the sex far, they don't even worry. They drink our instead. A man might have walk miles before. And if he see a woman in the window and he wave and he smile.
Yeah, and that was good for him.
And he come back highly motivated. Nowadays, the hunger, even for sex, is not there. The guy go and he smoke a weed, he drink a rum, he licks it. That's how Mr. X say. He licks it. And if he have money in his pocket, you know the woman go over scholar. Open your business.
Yeah, she was just.
And as such, there is no hunger for women. The man don't want to fight. In yesteryear, we fight for women honor. If a man says something, they had a name you call women that was that hot in the community. The man might have said, I can't remember.
Oh, I mean.
Yeah, but if you call her that, the man might feel offended. She properly dressed, she in a function. You can insult her. Men would fight for honor. Not their woman, you know. But they take objection to what you say to this woman. Boys would fight for their mother.
You couldn't, like if you have a conversation, a man tell you, don't go home. That's serious business.
No, the boys telling their mother,
same thing.
Your mother, some F sharp for the mother. And they're doing it in the presence of a lot of the friends. So the friends have no respect for the mother. And the sister leave half she clothes home when she going out. She forget it. So the boys are no longer want to fight for women.
So if they don't have nothing to fight for now.
They don't want to fight for women. You see, look around in the society. These guys are, well, forget those 20. Let's talk about those 25.
Yeah.
If you're 25 years old and you're going about as if you don't have engine, you don't have oil, you don't have sin. You get up in the morning, you go in the rum shop. If you get a girl, you might be walking the baby 9 o'clock. And sometimes fellas still telling you, you sure that child is yours?
Yeah, they're asking you that question. But there's another issue again, Mr. Pierre, that prevails with men. You know. Too often you hear that question. If you believe, if you show the child is yours. What do you think causes
it? Well, 10 to 20% of the children that born is not the father.
But that is so happening a long time days in Cocoa children.
And a lot of the women not with the father that father the first child. A young girl get pregnant, she have a child, she lead the man. Sometimes by the time she pregnant, she lead the man. Because there is no discussion. We're afraid to discuss these topics. We walk away from it. The topic too hot for us. We walk away from it. So you find young couples start up. And you want to encourage them. Parents supposed to encourage them. But what happens next thing, before the parents know, boy legal.
But a lot of times, Mr. Pierre, as we on that discussion, a lot of women will tell you they don't have a significant order. However, they engage in sex. So a lot of times they engage in sex with multiple partners. So if the child actually come, it does not be so clear cut.
Well, 15 to 20% of the males, they don't know if the child is theirs. Sometimes the woman looking so good, they minding the child, hoping the child look at them. Sometimes later in life, they build up a bond with the child and the tolerance level, they get so domesticated, they don't bother. They say a child is a child, don't worry. But if you have a society where we propagate that the woman body is hers, she could do what she wanted it.
Yeah.
But woman is a vessel, a receiver.
Yeah, the man gives.
The man gives. The woman receives. The sperm cell lasts, I think, for about 6 to 10 hours. As modern science developed, they find out more. Before it was 6 hours. I heard somebody say longer now. And the woman egg float around for 3, 4, 5, 6 days.
Yeah.
So it means a woman could be pregnated by multiple partners.
They could, yeah.
So she may not genuinely know
Who
the child father is.
And
And
in a case where a father or a guy leaves together more time with a woman and she gets impregnated.
But if you live together, you should mind the child.
Yeah.
When the child gets big, somebody is not just but say what? The child might bring some water, give me because
some guys live in with this person and they still saying they don't believe the child.
So them all the children are this. Because the woman say her body is hers. She could do what she wants with your body. You have a number of people that is pro-choice.
Yeah.
Advocating that. Next thing you have the other sexual liberalism.
Mm-hmm.
That advocating you could do what would you want with your body because your body is yours. So even if the woman is in a relationship, and she might be in a relationship with a man and she don't like the man.
And there comes the elephant in the room to a lot of people. The toy phenomenon. What's your take on that? Women having it.
Well, if case you're liberal and your body is yours. And if sex becomes the most, because remember, it's man, monkey, and dolphin thing that have sex for fun to help strengthen the social thing.
Every other aspect have sex to procreate.
Sex for procreation.
Yeah.
But man, dolphin, and monkey.
And monkey.
Monkey. They have sex for fun. So if you dilute the Christian values and you claim as a secular world you claim my body is yours and I'm equal to the male.
Yeah.
And the male going around sowing his having sex.
So in his royal oaths.
The woman say if the man could have sex, I could have sex too.
Yeah.
But the woman is a vessel.
Yeah, the man gives, she receives.
She receives.
She multiplies.
And she multiplies. You don't hear on the radio now about sexual disease.
Hardly. This thing
Hardly.
You wonder if that thing.
No, man, nothing greater, man.
STD, AIDS, all that kind of thing. Everybody was be careful, know your state or something. But apparently,
they don't care about that now.
It's obsolete now, man.
And even our leaders seems to be propagating sexual liberalism. When you go back to history, Eric Gary was married, Mr. Blaze married, Maurice Bishop married, Keith Mitchell married. In fact, they say Gary didn't choose the wife. When he decided to go in politics, he said he wanted a wife. And they choose Cynthia Gary for him.
They said that's your wife.
They said that is the best woman in St. David. She didn't looking so good, but they said the best woman in St. David. Well brought up.
Yes.
Educated. Decent woman. Name never call. I mean, if Gary had to choose, Gary was a flashy man. But the fact of having a good woman so dominated the progressive alpha male that Cynthia Gary would have stood up. Not only looks and beauty.
Nah.
Character. Today, that's not a factor.
No, married in and thing is not a.
If you pick up a woman 25 years, sometimes she might have about 20 man already.
Body count high.
She body count high. And the man in the community is aware of her sexual liberalism. So even if he with the woman, you want to walk with her any day. Fred. A fella say, oh, with this man, I just rest my jacket there. Man, take me jacket and put it.
Yeah.
So you don't wear me jacket. You could use me
jacket to see.
So we have a society that the males in our society are being domesticated. In addition to that, they're very weak where education is concerned.
And there are not many male leaders.
Well, if you domesticating the boys, Where you get alpha males? Those males we have now, they're dainty, you know. Some dainty little males.
Yeah. They become
You don't know if they want they become effeminate.
become followers.
They're more domesticated for public ridicule. They're not strong alpha males.
Nah.
They're domesticated. So when you have a society like that, your society is being degenerated. Now it's easy to ignore this.
And the women are happy to usurp the males, eh?
Well, some of the women are concerned, you know, because you find liberal women in Grenada that don't want to pay bills.
Yeah.
So although the women are liberal, they build their houses, they buy their cars, they don't make children. By the time they reach 55 years, they're going to live in the poor house. That's not the poor house. They're going to live in a home.
Yeah.
Because they have no one to cutlass around the yard, no one to provide security for them. They cannot go in an ordinary party because they have a group of males that have no more respect for females. They are not protective of the females. If they get a chance, they tear asunder. So there are some functions and activities successful females have to avoid.
Senior, somebody say Gary had children all over the place.
Well, they say that. I'm not disputing that. We're going to ask Cynthia Gary about your husband. Cynthia Gary was well kept. She was Minister of Education. And there was a time every week Gary used to go in a restaurant and sit down and eat with Cynthia Gary. He had his wife. And maybe Gary had kept miss. They know the place. They know the man have his wife. And if you was a woman then with an alpha male, you had to know your place. The wife come first. Not no riotous, rambunctious woman. You ever kept miss? Nowadays, you don't know kept miss. Woman want to fighting, dancing, man present, and all kind of thing. Man have to run. It's some little domesticated males that we have. Go and watch all them alpha males. Some of them had a lot of children. But they had their wife. And the kept miss knew her place. She's a kept miss. And the male commanded respect. And the wife, in most instances, accepted his children. Can you say my children in my home? You know, outside children. You cannot punish my child for me. But in today's society, what you have? You have well-educated women, one child. Sometimes 1.5. The father and giving the child money, the mother giving the child money, each of them undermining the authority of one another.
Yeah, they're working against each other.
And most time the child does, you don't know sense.
Yeah, they're fighting for the affection of the child. And a lot of places they adopt a child. Eh?
Well, sometimes they can be too, because if I see a lot of beautiful women with a lot of potential. 35 years, you don't have a child yet. They say they want something behind your name. When you will make the child? After 35 years, if a woman don't start to have children, she become more of a medical risk. Don't believe me that ask any medical doctor or nurse. She become more of a medical risk. Because a woman work with a time clock. And yesterday, men want a financial clock. These men of today, they want to go to live in a woman purse.
Somebody said they wanted to break down dainty men.
Well, he's a domesticated man that is for public ridicule, but he's very refined and palatable. In the eyes of the women. He's very refined and palatable. You know, he will cook, he will speak well, he will dress well, he'll walk around with it. No, your society, your males in the society is important.
So you go dress well, you go cook.
Yeah, he's very dainty, very sophisticated and dainty. But you wouldn't see him around alpha males. Alpha males don't respect this group at all.
Yeah.
The women hold them in high esteem, but not alpha males.
But we're seeing less and less of alpha males.
Well, of course, we have a factory factory training and
We're not
males.
producing them anymore.
Remember, our school system are dominated by women. When you watch those women that go to school, they're like models. They're difficult to command respect among the males. And they provoke the wrath of the females. Because the young females see them as competitors rather than teachers. So there are no groups in the school. A very few. They don't hike, they don't have scout group, they don't have nothing.
Senior, somebody says it's time for you to write some books.
Well, when you don't have a good command of the English language, sometimes you're right, but by the time your editors pick it up, you wonder if it's that right. They change. But you see, as a people, we must face the reality. You cannot have sons that you don't grow up as males. Grenada is on the, well, let me put it that way. Kirani, Aline Franzik, for you to have 6 Olympians in our Olympic is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
We had 6. We had 2, I believe, in one event. And that didn't provoke much passion in Grenada. Our journalist was going around encouraging jab to violate the COVID-19 restriction. While we had 6 Olympian, India didn't have 6. Nowadays, you see not all, a significant number of our young boys walking with slippers. Now, if you provide slippers for your son constantly, he would drag his foot, his posture.
But another thing
would change.
But another thing again I've noticed with our young men or men in particular, the adoption of styles and custom that you know not to be a good thing. Socks and slippers, the pants low down. We know where that originated from.
But it's fashionable. And the women agree with it. And you see our boys, they have to walk. They can't end up on their toes.
No.
Watch an athlete. Watch a footballer. They end up on their toes. But if the boy have a slipper, you don't want the slipper mark clippity, clap. Because you have to lift his heel and the slipper go hit the heel.
Yeah.
So what he does, he drags his foot.
Yeah. And he always has to have one hand holding the pants.
And so he walks flat-footed. And he don't end up on the toes. The ball of his foot is not used. So over time, atrophy takes place.
Because you don't use it, you lose it.
And you have to open his foot slightly.
Yeah, to walk.
To keep the pants on his waist. So if you give your child that for time in 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, 9 years, how you going to make athletes? How you going to make athletes? And your boy is not involved in activity. Because when a boy reaches puberty, he wants food. He has more energy. So he wants food. But he is not in any group in school. He's not doing anything home because you don't go for wood anymore. You have gas. You don't fish anymore because the father was walking baby, the children. You don't hunt anymore. You don't raise sheep or cow anymore. And there is no group, no scout group, no hiking group in schools. So he's not socialized to do that. You have a slipper in your foot. So you change his whole posture. Atrophy take place. The muscles on the ball of the foot is not used. So how you going to turn good athlete? How you going to turn good cricketer?
Well, that's something we have seen gone.
He has no balance. He don't skip. We used to have a lot of skipping. Lamo J, Leo. That was important.
Yeah.
And he's going down balance. But these boys are prepared for domestication.
But they never hold sheep rope and goat rope and have to run behind an animal.
They don't climb tree anymore.
When a cow want water and you put it in the air, you have to let it go and find it.
Because they hardly suck fruits, the snacks that we feed our boys with. the snacks, cause them to lose the taste for natural food.
And that is something I always just hear people making this issue about how much fruits are wasting. And they just blaming certain things. The whole blame is people who suck fruits anymore.
But we have
In
some.
our time, Mr. Pierre, when mango and thing they in season, we didn't much for cook food.
They say if you turn on a pot.
Yes. You always have a banana somewhere hide ripen, sugar cane, jelly, they say which have, and now when you hear them scientists talk about those things and how beneficial they are, that's why we were stronger than people now.
Well, these youths, the concentration of the salt and pepper and the MSG and the seasoning in the snacks that they use cause them to lose the natural taste for fruits.
Yep.
So damsel, sour things, you don't see boys in it.
Tom Brand.
If you want to cut off smoking, I giving you a challenge that hard smokers don't like sour things.
Nope.
And then women don't cook. You have a fella tell me I mustn't talk about cook and women. But it's more macaroni.
No, a lot of them can boil, Mr. Pierre.
And rice and
a lot of them can boil.
That's why our women go massive behind. They look like Volkswagen.
Always junk in each other.
Like lobsters. They look good. But because of the food stuff they eat and lack of activity, they grow this protruding mass that the men say they like. And you don't know if the men like it or not. You know? Because men have a habit, they don't want to say nothing to upset a woman.
Yeah.
She have ring in she nose, the man say, you look well nice.
You look nice.
She have a tights. Sometimes she bottom look as a prune. The man say, well nice. He says nothing to bring out the wrath.
It's all about likes
and the anger of the man. Well, it's a question of domestication of the males. The males don't want to tangle.
They emasculate
with the female.
All the males.
The males are emasculated.
How you think males want to get out of that?
No, the males are... The only thing you fight for in the world is woman and land. And anytime a man decides he's not fighting for no woman, he ain't defending no honor or no woman. Some men don't even fighting for their woman over their wife. They're asking, why you do?
Yeah.
But why you do the person? Long ago you don't take insult. Not even your neighbor, your friend. You ask a friend, John was there when they're telling you that?
Yeah. And John
even the honor your friend woman.
But you don't have that word don't exist anymore.
No, because the women are
honor.
The women say all the men not looking is for the woman pursues you money.
You think they are black and chicken thing or just general in males?
It's an issue that start up to help to destroy the family.
Yeah.
And the way you destroy the family the fastest is to emasculate the male. So we didn't have a problem with high unemployment, you know.
Nah.
But a woman believe now she have to work.
Yeah.
I met a sister and I tell her I feel sorry for her. And she was looking good. So I have a soft hat. She working in St. George's. She working for $1,500 a month in St. George's. She have 2 children that she put by she sister or what she says she does pay a little thing. And 6 o'clock in the morning because she had to reach her tongue 8. But she husband is a mechanic. She man is a mechanic. He could easily employ her.
You have to do the books and all kind of thing.
When he finish, he wants something to eat. He goes in the shop and spends $25, $30, $40.
Yeah, every day.
What he's spending to eat a day is what she pay.
Yeah.
And she could only lose that man because the fact that she's in St. George's every day, he could be more suspicious of her.
Yeah.
Because honor is no longer an issue. And we have women who are well educated, you know. So they're supposed to know.
You believe they're supposed to know? Or they know and they pretend?
But some of them shame now to acknowledge that as a fact. Where are social scientists? You have women who do psychology, sociology, watology. Some of them are 2 doctorate. When you watch them and they say they are 2 doctorate, they don't have a man. Women are 2 doctorate. She can't get a man.
But how the family structure, Mr. P, you alluded to that. How do we salvage it? Or is that a foregone conclusion that we just have to give up?
Well, we must have hope. But we have to try to have our males, from the time they approach puberty, how we dress them, the level of respect the boys have in the house for mothers. You have to let your boy respect his sister, respect his mother, respect women. Say to him how you treat your mother and your sisters, so you have to treat women. We have to dress our men like men. We have to make sure that they have shoes so they could end up on their toes since they're young. Yes, they could wear slipper on and off, but they have to end up on their toes. You have to get them to be physically active. When a boy reaches puberty stage, he have energy.
A lot of energy to
He
burn.
want food. Sometimes that's when conflict. The boys are cooking by the road. The men are cooking by the road. Sunday's supposed to be the best meal in the house.
Everybody does say that.
Man, the boys cooking near the house and the men gone far by the river and cook. So who cooking in the house? Well, if you have a woman here, they have some macaroni pie. If a man passes, say, oh, I love pie. I love pie. Because he's not telling the woman anything to anger her. You don't want to be in the doghouse.
You know, there was a time when you use things from the land and you call it strong back foods, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
A lot of people telling you now, I don't eat that, I eat too much of that already.
Yes, because they just want to save face. They can't get it to it. Who go peel fig in the house? Which man that have the authority to go home and bring fig and blogger and callaloo and say to that I want to eat? Which man? So the man only putting up a defense and say, I tell you that. That he want to eat, but no one ain't cooking that way.
Because in most places, food places where they cook that food on them, it don't last him.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. So when you hear men say they're not eating that, what I telling you, boy, you're mad. You want me a conflict in my house? The woman wouldn't cook that. So they put up a defense system that we're not eating that. The woman not cooking that. When she gives some macaroni and what they call the shrimp, the thing, the Chinese thing,
Ramen.
Ramen, if you don't want it, that's your affair. So the men are putting up a defense because they remember, it's a lot of domesticated men we have. So somebody want to save face. Like, I don't want to have children. The woman say, I don't make it. The man say, I don't want to have children.
Yes, sometimes the woman tell him she don't making children.
I don't making children.
Want.
And she don't making children for him because next man might come and demand children and she make a child. So
what you're saying in effect, the man has become so weak?
All men has become very weak. We are emasculated males. And we are domesticated for public ridicule. There are some women that want to shame the men in the public.
Yeah.
So they domesticate them for public ridicule. You know, there are some women that know the man is emasculated, but they don't want to have a public show of it.
But some doing it.
But some women, they are very liberal, sexist, and they want to shame these men.
I was in a company with some gentlemen, with some men one time, and one of the woman come and like just rag him up in all of us present.
Yeah, and you have some men that wouldn't marry. Some men realize they don't have much authority, they don't have much power. They don't want to be in the doghouse. They want a little sex in the night when they come. So they don't do anything to cause undue discomfort in the house. You know? So sometimes some sons come and they join up their mother.
Yeah.
But they don't like the father. Sometimes they're no longer proud of the father. When they watch
because of how he...
Yeah, it become an excuse for a father. So you see how animals will turn on animals. The female lion will turn on the male lion and kill him. The female dogs will turn on a castrated dog and bite it up.
Yeah.
If you have castrated males in the yard, sometimes the females rough it up.
Females
And you see
more than
going down. The same thing happen. The fathers look as domesticated individual in the house. So the sons no longer concerned about the father.
Most times when anything you ask the father, he tell you go and ask your mother.
He say go and ask the mother. He has no more authority in the house. And he realize he reach an age where he has perhaps lost his manhood. He has been emasculated. And he don't have the economic power anymore. Or even though he has economic power, it is now managed by the woman. And the woman play the numbers game. So she floats around her sons, not for sexual issues, but she at his beck and call. So only for him to join up with her.
You have to play part of
numerical value in the house against the male. You have a lot of homes like that. The men can squeak in the house. They caught like lamb. And all these things backfire in the latter run because it doesn't help our society.
And you don't help the children, the males.
You don't help the males. The males end up in him. The same male who joined up with his mother and discipline his father. As he gets older,
same thing happened to him.
The same thing happened to him. He gets mad. Sometimes you see drink alcohol, Mr. X tell them licks it.
Yeah, when they drink the alcohol, they feel taking it out.
And some of the women are angry too. They're trying to be males. They drop their pants. They want to outdrink the men. They're using obscenities. They're no longer ladylike.
No.
They believe being ladylike is submissive.
Other women don't want to be ladylike.
They don't want to be ladylike.
It has been submissive.
So they behave as from the ghetto, the bad boy Jamaican culture. You know? So this is a challenge we have. But we speak today and we want to basically provoke discussion.
Oh, yeah, that is what it is.
As we talk about the challenges of the male.
Yes.
And is that easy for the males to talk about that, about themselves?
That a difficult conversation.
Is that difficult? We're speaking about ourselves.
Yeah.
You think a woman said the saddest thing in her life. She says every day I'm in front of the courthouse. She says she have 5 sons in jail. She said, where went wrong? 5 of her sons in jail. And a fella said, well, you treat their father bad. But it's not she alone, it's a society.
And society accepts it.
The society is reducing the man to scraps. And our male leaders are nothing to cheer about. When you watch them, they're like little excuse for males. We hope you share our program on the Galaxy Equalizers and subscribe to our program. And every Saturday we have 2 of these programs. One on agriculture and another one on a pertinent subject. So share and like our program and spread the word. We have a young man as a technical operator, Devante. Gates, our consultant and assistant, was with us here. And Master Carl in the house. Yeah. Thank you very much.